This is question 51 of civil engineering paper of GATE 2017 forenoon session. An effective rainfall of 2-hour duration produced a flood hydrograph peak of 200 meter cube per second. The flood hydrograph has a base flow of 20 meter cube per second. If the spatial average rainfall in the watershed for the duration of a storm is 2 centimeter and the average loss rate is 0.4 centimeter per hour, the peak of 2-hour unit hydrograph is. So this question is from the topic of hydrograph. You may study about hydrograph and its construction in lecture module 1, lecture 22, advanced hydrology by Dr. Rasujan, IIT Kharagpur. So in this question, the peak of a 2-hour duration flood hydrograph is given as 200 meter cube per second, which has a base flow of 20 meter cube per second. The next, it is saying that the average rainfall in the watershed for the duration of a storm is 2 centimeter and the average loss rate is 0.4 centimeter per hour. Then what will be the peak of 2-hour unit hydrograph? So here in this question, the peak of flood hydrograph is given and base flow is also given. So we can find the, here it is given the peak of flood hydrograph is given as 200 meter cube per second and base flow is given as, base flow for this flood hydrograph is given as 20 meter cube per second. So can we find the peak of direct runoff hydrograph? How? By this peak of FH minus base flow, as you can see in this figure also. This is the peak of flood hydrograph. So, and this is the base flow. This is the base flow. If we subtract the base flow from the peak of flood hydrograph, then we will get the peak of this direct runoff graph. This is called peak of direct runoff graph, DRH. So the peak of DRH here, so peak of flood hydrograph is given as 200 meter cube per second and base flow is given as 20 meter cube per second. So the peak of DRH will be 180 meter cube per second. Now the next part in this question, it is saying that the rainfall for this duration of a storm is 2 centimeter and the average loss rate is 0.4 centimeter per hour, that is phi index is given as 0.4 centimeter per hour. So can we find the runoff excess rainfall or runoff equal to precipitation minus phi index into time of rainfall. So precipitation is given as here precipitation is given as 2 centimeter. So P is 2 centimeter minus phi index. So phi index is given as 0.4. So this is 0.4 and duration of storm is 2 hour. So this is 2 hour. So now after calculating it, we will get the runoff as 2 minus 0.8, that is 1.2 centimeter. Now, so corresponding to this storm, we need to find the peak of 2-hour unit hydrograph. So we have the peak of DRH and corresponding to this storm, we have the value of excess rainfall depth, that is runoff depth. So for finding this peak of unit hydrograph, we need to find the formula for finding this UH is peak of DRH, the direct runoff hydrograph divided by excess rainfall or this runoff depth. So here the peak of DRH is 180 and this runoff depth is 1.2 centimeter. So we will get the peak of 2-hour UH is 150 meter cube per second centimeter. So you can say here that peak of 2-hour unit hydrograph in meter cube per second centimeter is 150. 150. So 150 is the correct answer for this question. Thank you.